Welcome back, Mr. Goodberry. The First Star Logistics studio is fully equipped and ready to record.
Welcome back to Bengals On The Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm your host, Joe Goodberry. Free agency is here. We're going to take a break from watching offensive linemen, although the episode hasn't aired yet. I started getting started on that. We're going to take a break from watching draft prospects. Linemen are next because there's a chance that's the pick at 10 because free agency is a big part of this. Some of these guys are going to get paid a ton of money for probably the fifth year in a row. We've noticed offensive linemen getting way overpaid. But free agency is here. The Bengals didn't tag Trey Hendrickson. They're dealing with about $45 million in Bengals cap space because we have to put a little limiter on it. They could really spend like $70 million, but we'll get to that later. This is more about a free agency preview plan that I think they'll execute. This isn't my plan. We've done that. We've done a mock-off season. I'm going to do a few scenarios for them because it's not, you don't always get to go. Even the Bengals aren't going to be able to go straight according to their plan. Like, if they want a top linebacker and then he falls through and goes somewhere else, you got to be ready to pivot with that money. I don't think the Bengals are great at that, but that's the task. That's what you have to do in free agency. And they do it. There's a lot of guys they haven't gotten over the years that they have had interest in. And you got to turn and say, okay, well, who's the next best corner or linebacker or defensive tackle, whatever the position is. And you got to be ready to move. So while I'm doing this, my annual free agent spreadsheet is available. There'll be a link below. Go down there. You can click on it, pull it up. I've ranked and tried to tier free agents with James Rapine, Mike Santagata, and Jake Lisco, other Bengals content creators. We also have Neil Engelberger that puts all this data together and really helps us out and makes it look pretty for you guys. So shout out to them. But you can see where they're ranked. You can see their projected salary, their projected guaranteed money. So when I pull it up, it'll make sense to you. I'll show you when we get in there. And we're going to use that to get some ideas on what the Bengals could do, should do, and maybe plan on doing. Because some of these guys are just too rich for them based on their history of contracts. A lot of these guys are going to get paid more than we expect. But let's see what we can do with about their $45 million that they can spend after signing Jalen Davis. We haven't gotten to talk about that. Dalton Reisner. They got Tanner Hudson. Hey, big move so far to secure some of these guys. Dalton Reisner was a big move so that we don't need to get a right guard right away. Very cheap deal for him, by the way. He got $1 million guaranteed. So, hey, take that. But easy cap hit for the Bengals. $3.5 million is basically low-end starter, good backup money for Dalton Reisner. So that's a win for roster building. Not so much a win for Dalton, but he got a decent deal for what he's usually hanging out until July, August, maybe even September, like it was last year, before getting signed. So let's jump into that spreadsheet. I'm going to go through scenarios, 3 or 4 of them, depending on how they play out, and we'll go from there. So here is the spreadsheet. This is what it looks like. I'm over on a far tab just to work on it and move things around while you're here. I've already eliminated guys like Trey Hendrickson, obviously. I have kickers, punters, long snappers. I've eliminated some guys like at offensive tackle that are going to make a ton of money. Rasheed Walker, like that. The Bengals are just not, they're not in the market for an offensive tackle, number one. They're not going to spend that type of money, right? I should have gotten rid of Kenneth Walker, because they're not going to spend money on that either. It wasn't a complete process. You may see some guys in here that like, hey, the Bengals aren't going to do that. You're right. Because if I was really doing it, I would go over to the L column here, the guaranteed money. And I would say, well, the Bengals aren't spending $32 million guaranteed on Devin Lloyd, so we should take him out. They're not spending $40 on Odafe Owe, we should take him out. Boy Mafe, $30, can't see it. Take him out. Tariq Woolen, $30. I don't think he's going to get that much, but take him out. So we could do that, right? I don't think we will. We're going to leave them in for now. And because we have to talk about really the Bengals process as a whole. I mean, because they don't give out guaranteed money past year one. They have twice in their history to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So perennial Pro Bowl cornerstone type players. So free agents, the biggest free agent contract they've ever given out was Orlando Brown Jr., who got almost equivalent to 2 years guaranteed, but they gave it to him in a signing bonus. So technically not guaranteeing the second year, but the value was close to 2 years. So could they conceivably, if Devin Lloyd gets 18 million per year, 2 years will be 36, right? Could they go to 32 guaranteed by making it all a year one signing bonus? Sure, they could. It would cut big time into their cash. That's year one cash. So if they were going to give them 32 million in year one cash, they have about 70-ish to spend based on what they normally spend. You could always go more. Other teams will go higher than that. But you're cutting a huge chunk. This would be like doing Trey Hendrickson on the tag. Would you rather Trey Hendrickson on the tag for 30 million in cash or Devin Lloyd for 30 million in cash year one? That's why it makes it tough. That's why you just guarantee that year two. So with that, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over to the right. And you got projected Bengals cap hit. Bengals projected cap hit. Why isn't it the same? Why, if he gets 18 APY class, is his projected hit only 12.9? Well, because your APY isn't your cap hit. Your APY, your average per year, is not the cap hit. This isn't like some of these other sports where a guy makes $10 million a year, it gets $10 million every single year. That's not how it works in the NFL. Your cap hits typically are lower in year one, and then they grow into the years where you can cut them, where it's not guaranteed anymore, so that the cap hit, so that the contract is really kind of overinflated at the end. The Bengals don't participate in this. I've got it set to be about 70%, I think it is, of the, looking at the formula, 70% of what the APY is. The Bengals are typically up to 80% of the first year cap hit being what the APY is. Some teams are down to 30, 40, 50%. So for the Eagles, they'd be much lower. The Bengals, we're going to inflate them a little bit, but it's still not as high as the APY. So when you see some of these offseason simulators or spreadsheets, and you take the APY and it hits your cap, that's not how it works. So that's why I struggle with them sometimes and kind of build my own thing here, even though I'm not as good with technology. So let's start scenario one, where the Bengals go. This would be the lofty scenario. The Bengals go and they get Devin Lloyd, right? And we got a 12.9 cap hit. So we're going to go in here. We're going to say Devin Lloyd, 2 L's. And we're going to say it's 12.9. So I wanted to put that down one. Yeah. Okay. 12.9, right? So we're going to take this off of the total of the 45 million. Work with me here. That the Bengals are now down to 32 million in cap space to spend. But we got a good linebacker, right? So let's make sure we try and pay attention to who we're signing and what we're signing here. Got a linebacker. You got one of the top guys in free agency. You got a tier 1 free agent. That is good. I don't think a lot of people would be upset about that. You're probably spending more than you'd like to. Devin Lloyd was a Pro Bowl player. He's very good in coverage. He intercepted the Bengals last year. I think that might play a factor in a little bit. So we may have to drop down a little bit into the next tier and say, what do we still need? We need an edge player. Would they go for like a Boye Mafe? We're talking, we already spent 32 million here. Are they going to spend 30 year one cash on Boye Mafe? I don't see it. I think we'll go a little bit lower than that. You know a guy that fits in really well? Logan Hall. He's got a 17.8% true pass rush win rate. Way higher than any Bengals defensive tackle on the roster. And his APY is about 8.5. I saw 8.4. I think I saw projected the other day. We'll take 8.2 as a fair one here that we already had listed here and say, hey, we get one of the better interior pass rushers for the Bengals. I've done a film review on him. I did one on Devin Lloyd as well. I didn't see what was his number there. Logan Hall, 5.7 would be the cap hit for year one. Very manageable. I wanted to go negative 5.7. Sorry, work with me here. We're down to 26 million. So we still want an edge. We still want to get a defensive end. But I did one on Hall. I did one on Devin Lloyd if you're a subscriber on Twitter. Next for me is we still need to find a safety. I would like a DN too. I'm looking at the defensive ends. But can we get a safety that really fits without going too crazy on how much money we have to spend? Because we still have 26 million here. Can we get a Jaquan Brisker? Can we get a Brian Cook? Brian Cook, 16 million per year. First year cap hit should be about 11.2. First year cash, 22 million. I think you could get in that range. I think you can get a Brian Cook if you want to go spend for the maximum. I think we should look probably just a little bit lower, and maybe that's Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, first year cash about 20 million for guaranteed. If we do it the Bengals way. 13 million per year, so 9.1. So let's do a free safety. Kobe Bryant at 9.1. Kobe Bryant, free safety, minus 9.1. Hey, look at that. We still got 17 million to play. The Bengals have done good here. If they just ended up with Devin Lloyd, Logan Hall, and Kobe Bryant, I think we'd be in great shape. Also, you have to remember, too, when you're doing these calculations, why this is also should be lower than the APY. Because every time you add a player, you're taking a player off the roster. And the minimum right now is about $980,000. So you can almost take $1 million off everyone's APY for the balance. You add one, you remove one. They only count the top 51 or top 53, depending on what part of the year it is. And they go from there. All right, let's keep it moving. We still need a defensive end. I don't think they'd pay for Boye Mafe. I think he's an option. I would like Boye Mafe. I don't want to spend that much on him. So where's the next edge? Is it Kalavon Chason? He's getting $30 million year one too. All right, we're going to keep it moving. I like Arnold Ebiketie, but I'm trying to shoot a little bit higher here. I think he's going to be a value player that we'll use on a different scenario. Let's go down to maybe Joey Bosa, right? Who are the next edges? Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye, I think, makes a lot of sense for the Bengals. Former first-round pick, 27 years old, going to get about $13 million per year. If you want to take the contract of Trey Hendrickson and say, we're going to basically 13 for Kwity Paye, 18 for Devin Lloyd, that's Trey Hendrickson's deal. We're going to split that between Lloyd and Kwity Paye. I think that makes a lot of sense. $9.4 million in first-year cap hit. Now we're down to $7.9 million left. And this already includes, if you're curious, it already includes Dalton Reisner. It already includes all their draft picks. So this is actual playable, usable money. What would you say the Bengals need from here? Should they probably get another depth defensive end? Should they get another linebacker? Are you ready to bench one of these guys? Should they get a boundary corner or a slot corner? Where do you want to move these? Is there a slot corner available that you really like? I want to go get another defensive end if I can. I think if I was splitting between getting these two right here, Kwity Paye and Kingsley Enagbare, I think Enagbare is better against the run. I think he is a heavy-handed guy. He's on my shadow team. If you play the shadow team, you know what I'm talking about. Heavy-handed dude that has got enough athleticism that you don't have to be worried about him being out there in a passing situation. He's better than Cam Sample in that regard. But projected at 6.1, played with Jerry Montgomery, was drafted under Jerry Montgomery. First year cap hit of 4.3. So let's go with Kingsley Enagbare at minus 4.3. And that's our first set. We're left with 3.6. You could always get another tight end or a swing tackle, backup running back, maybe a depth receiver, maybe a depth corner, whatever you want to do. The 3.6 is to play with. I'm going to end that first scenario. This is almost like best case scenario for the Bengals. They spend big on a guy, but yet they also bring in and hit every free agent need to really feel good about going into the draft. Scenario 2 now. We're not going to go so pie in the sky. I made this a little bit bigger too so we can see the players' names for those of you watching on mobile, which I know I've gotten comments before. Not so much pie in the sky, but I'll give you the top guy that is probably reasonable for how the Bengals do contracts, and that's Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips has had a lot of injuries in his career, 2 major at least, depending on what you consider major. But he's still only 27. He had a closest to pass rush win rate to Trey Hendrickson as you'll find in free agency. The top 2 are Jalen Phillips and Arnold Ebiketie. So in probably scenario 3 when I do Arnold Ebiketie. So if the Bengals were to get a top free agent and feel good, would it be a Devin Lloyd? Would it be a Jalen Phillips? Would it be a John Franklin Myers? I think Franklin Myers is going to get too much. I think he's going to get the guaranteed money. Lloyd, maybe not. Maybe. And then Jalen Phillips is probably the guy who doesn't get the guaranteed money. PFF has him as 12.5. That's where the guaranteed comes from here. So it's not even a full year of guaranteed money. 18.9. So 13.3 year 1. I think let's add him. So I got it set in here. Taking off 13.1 for Jalen Phillips. That gives you, if you're really trying to get the pass rush going again, it gives you a legit guy. And he has had some very productive years. He has had some years where he's had to be a rotational player. He's had some years where he's had to come back from injury. It's part of the risk. It's part of why the Bengals could actually get him because of all those things. But he's a good player, and I've got the edge rushers down here. So if you're interested, when you go into the spreadsheet and you're wondering, like, well, how can we find a pass rush win rate close to Trey Hendrickson's last year, 25.3? Well, 24.8 is Jalen Phillips. 21 for Arnold Ebiketie, 20 for Joey Bosa, 22 for Jadeveon Clowney. So your options, get real quickly there. There's not too many guys, but we'll take Phillips here I think it's possible. One of the more possible of the top guys. I would say there's a chance for Lloyd, chance for Phillips, low chance for John Franklin Myers. And again, we're trying to be a little more realistic here. The other guy I'm going to add in here that is a value is Leo Chenal. And Leo Chenal is the best linebacker for what the Bengals keep describing as a guy that can rotate down, play on the edge, that can handle run game duties, that is an athlete, that is young, that still has a lot of upside. You got to try and hope to sign these guys that are going to be much better in the second contract than they were in the first contract. Or else you're going to lose value almost immediately. It's like buying a car. It's going to lose its value right off the lot with almost all of these top free agents. Except for Leo Chenal is one of the guys I don't think will. I think he'll be completely worth the projected $8 million, especially with guaranteeing only 10 of it. It means a year one cap hit of $5.6 million. And there's a lot of options at linebacker, don't get me wrong. Chenal is just one of my favorites. It could be, to me, if I was in that room, I'd be trying to target him immediately. It'd be one of my first signings. I'd go as high as $10 million in the first year. I think he's going to be worth it. But you're setting up your front here. So we're building from the inside out this time. I'm going defensive tackle next. It's not going to be Logan Hall. That's someone I would really like. It's going to be DJ Reader. We're going to try and really shore up this run defense. Leo Chenal, great against the run, right? Although he is an elite athlete, and honestly, I think he's good in coverage for the responsibilities that KC gave him. DJ Reader is still quality. We're not expected. He's 5.5. Year one cap it at 3.9. He's not getting a lot of guaranteed money. They got a 3.5 guarantee for him. Man, DJ Reader in this space right here. We're talking about keeping TJ Slayton. I'm not talking about cutting him. I'm saying give me two guys that can clog and do what they're supposed to do. What was that, 3.5? Or I messed up. What was it for Reader? 3.9 year one cap hit. Great. Perfect. We're talking about defending the run and allowing this average pass rush unit to tee off. And that's what this is about. Leo Chenal, DJ Reader help you get there. And it doesn't preclude you from drafting a defensive tackle that can rush the passer. Grayson Holton's there in round 2, 3. Zane Durant's there in round 3. Do it. Completely rebuild that defensive tackle room. Your linebacker room has a veteran now. It's got a guy that can do the things Al Golden was looking for, while also giving you one of the higher end pass rushers. But I think I still need to get a safety, right? We got to get a safety. Who's a guy that is not breaking the bank, but is a good player? And I think someone that fits, and maybe a little underrated here, that would fit as a free safety. He's projected to get a little bit much, even though 8.4 per year. They're saying he's going to get, 2.5 years guaranteed? I don't know. PFF was a lot higher on him than the other places. We use Spotrac and we use The Athletic for Jalen Hawkins. Jalen Hawkins is a straight up true free safety. And I know you guys are going to say, I want more than just Jalen Hawkins at safety. I get it. I just don't, I think let's go to the safety page real fast. Let me highlight Jalen Hawkins for you. The way they talked up Jordan Battle, and we all put a tier 3 on him. We all think he's a quality player. I'm going to keep him highlighted. The way they talked up Jordan Battle, Hawkins is coming off a very good year. Very good run defender for a free safety. 62% of his snaps were at free safety. That's his yards per coverage snap. Didn't get beat in coverage a lot. Didn't get his hand on the ball a lot either. Really good in zone, not so much in man. So he's a deep free safety that is a quality tackler, not a tackler. Like Kobe Bryant's a bad tackler. He is on the Geno Stone tier of tackling. Jalen Hawkins isn't. He's really good in coverage. He scored really well in run defense last year. And I think he's just now getting to where he needs to be, and he's a value free agent. In my opinion, PFF thinks he's going to get paid. I don't think he's going to get paid like that. So I'm more on, let's get Jalen Hawkins here at safety at 5.9 year one cap hit. So now we've gone free safety, we've gone DN, we've gone outside linebacker, we've gone nose tackle. I think we could also try and get a depth pass rusher at defensive end. And I think their Bengals are going to try and add multiple on the defensive line. I think they're going to try and get guys that are can do all, like play defensive end, play defensive tackle, can move around, play left side, play right side. I think that was part of the limitation with Trey Hendrickson is they couldn't do enough. They couldn't move him around as much as they like. He actually got hurt by moving to left defensive end on a play. So there's some guys down here that I think make a ton of sense that can still help you rush the passer. Malcolm Koonce would be interesting from the Raiders. I still think he's got some upside left in him. So, when he's healthy, he's been a quality player. I've got a guy down here that I've liked as a mercenary type. Cam Thomas is a guy I would like. Maybe I'll put him in a different scenario as a throw-in, cap hit. If he's going to make 2.1 a year, then maybe 2 for his first year cap hit. But I'm talking about, I'm too far down the list. It's El Kadin Muhammad, who was a 3.5 or 3.6. Let's see. There he is. Projected to get 8.4 per year. I'll obviously be surprised if he gets that much, but sure. Let's go with it. And this could be a Joseph Osai level signing. I think that they would still be open to. Would they say that 5.9 that was? Getting another. This guy can play in and out. Maybe I should just label him as D-line because he helps your interior pass rush as well. And then I want to go get one player on offense if possible. And that is tight end Daniel Bellinger with the Giants, former mid-round pick, still only 26. Second contract tight ends have been a value. Projected APY 2.5 million. Like, fine, I'll even write 2 million on here. But he gives you a guy that can do a little bit of both. Not just so much Gesicki is only a slot receiver and Sample's only a blocker. Give me a guy that can do a little bit of both. I think Daniel Bellinger still has some upside to him. I'm actually going to take 2 guys here. I want to upgrade our swing tackle with Josh Jones just because he's right there. I just saw him. Let's do Josh Jones. We've got a 2.4 and a 1.8 for the 2 of them. And that leaves us with 6.4 million. And as you can tell, I'm leaving a little bit here. And you want to leave a little bit because we want to extend Dax and DJ Turner, of course. Jeez. We want to extend both corners if we can, and maybe Chase Brown. And that shouldn't cost too much in terms of offsetting what you've got here because the 5th-year option for Dax is already pretty expensive, and then DJ is pretty cheap right now. The increase you'd give both of them should balance it out pretty well. It might cost you a few million, but nothing crazy. You're not going to need like $15 million in cap space or anything at the end like that. You just need a handful. The Bengals could still always restructure if they have to, or cut if they have to. If they say, well, we don't need Slayton because Reader's here, well, you can add $5 million on here. But this is a solid one big guy, one that I would consider big in Leo Chenal, and then a bunch of quality guys that can help you get better on offense and defense. Let's go to scenario number 3. In scenario number 3, I want to start with a safety this time. So the big get last time was Jalen Phillips. I think the big get this time, maybe it's Brian Cook. So like of these top guys we have, I'm trying to give the Bengals a big guy. I don't think they're going to get Dafe away. That's a lot of money first year. Brian Cook, $14 million per year, $22 million guaranteed, just a year and a half guaranteed. I don't like, maybe that's the way the Bengals can stretch. And that's the signing bonus there being that money. And that's not prohibitive, right? The Devin Lloyd $32 million could be a bit prohibitive. That extra $10 million could do a lot for us in terms of cash. But the Brian Cook here, you get the best safety available? Sure, I think he is. Free safety from a complex defense that's been a sure tackler. Let me pull up the safety sheet, actually, and you can see what I'm talking about. Brian Cook here at the top. We all got a 2 on him in the tier ranking. He'll be 27 at the start of the year. Look at his PFF grades, an 83.5, run defense, 80, coverage, 83.5, tackling, 88. He's been a stud tackler, one of the best safety tacklers. Not great, man. He's an average athlete, 82 in zone. Forcing completion percentage is the highest other than Alohi Gilman, gets his hands on the ball a lot, and he played 55.8% of his snaps as a free safety. So he can move around and do a lot, and that works well with Jordan Battle, who moved around and did a lot as well. Even Geno Stone was only free safety about 60% of the time. So this is a good fit. I think if the Bengals were going to go spend some money, I wouldn't be shocked at all if it's Brian Cook. So let's get him in there. So Brian Cook is in. First year cap hit of $9.8 million. Still gives the Bengals $35 million to spend. I'm trying to be a little bit more realistic with this one, and I know I gave him a big player there. But let's say next, linebacker, Demario Davis, I think fits. You got to go a little bit older. The Bengals don't typically do this. It's going to be a 1-year deal. So his cap hit would actually probably be a little bit higher than this. It probably would be all of $8 million because it's a 1-year deal. So I'm going to switch that up real quick because it's expected 8.8, guaranteed 7.5. Because he's 37.7, he was going to be 38 years old. His play hasn't actually slipped off. He's been an incredibly good linebacker for the Saints. He has Saints connections, or linebacker coach for the Bengals connections. He's played a lot on the line of scrimmage as well. So while I mentioned Leo Chenal doing a lot of that, Demario Davis has done a ton of that too. And this isn't going to be very cost prohibitive. We're talking about $8 million in year one. Cap it. Let's do it. So I got Demario Davis slotted in there. We still need to get the defensive line addressed. We got the safety. We got the linebacker addressed. I'm going to go with who I said I think is the value in free agency. And why the Bengals could play in these waters is because he's expected to be a value. The Bengals like values. I'm just keep saying value every time because that's what they want to play in. And if they were to say, Joe, who's the best pass rusher we can get for cheap? I would say it's Arnold Ebiketie. And like I showed you on the edge rusher list here, let's go up to Arnold Ebiketie. Give me Arnold Ebiketie and Joseph Ossai for the price. We're talking a 21% pass rush win rate in true pass sets, 16.8 pass rush win rate in all other. That's comparable to Dafe Owe. It's just behind Jalen Phillips. This is a guy that has scored well for PFF. Increase every year almost. Despite getting replaced basically by James Pierce and Jalen Walker last year. I think he's a good player. Solid pass rusher. Okay run defender. Better than Trey. Better than Jalen Phillips. On par with Dafe Owe. So if you look at just grading, where is Ossai? Ossai is a 70, so a little bit worse against the run than Ossai. But a quality pass rusher. This grade is up there. I like Arnold Ebiketie a ton. I know not everyone understands where my love is coming from there, but he can win. Year one cap hit, $6 million. Let's do it. He's in there. Taking away that $6 million. We're down to $21 million. We still got to find a defensive tackle that can pass rush. Is there a guy down on the list? Let's go to the defensive tackle page here and see if we can find a guy that has a decent pass rush win rate. That's not going to make a lot this year. He was just cut, let's say. Javon Hargrave, just cut. Not going to factor into our comp picks. Going to work that way for us. He's an older guy. We got to get some mix of young guys and older guys here. And he's got an 18% pass rush win rate. That is really, really good. It's the tops of all these guys. I mentioned Logan Hall being 17.8. That 18.6 in true pass sets is worth something. Still a quality player. Vikings were up against the cap. He can help you. Let's put Javon Hargrave in that defensive tackle room. And now because we've got a few value guys here in terms of Hargrave, Ebiketie, and Demario Davis, in my opinion, despite spending a lot and getting the top safety. That's what probably getting the top safety helps you do, is play a little bit more with the other positions. Let's go get another defensive end because Arnold Ebiketie is not going to be enough. Let's say the Bengals come back around and say, you know what, Joseph Ossai, you're 25 years old. We still like you. You like us. What's wrong with liking each other for another year or two? We get him a 1-year deal here. $9 million, 3.5 guaranteed. His cap hit's just 6.3. Let's add him back to the defensive end room, the defensive line room. And now knowing the Bengals, they're done here. This is it. They'll keep that $10 million. I told you I was going to finish with a more realistic one. Get one big free agent, 2 older guys on 1-year deals in Hargrave and Davis, the big one being Brian Cook, 1 guy on a 2-year deal, let's say Arnold Ebiketie, 2-year, $16 million deal. And then Joseph Ossai on another 1-year, $9 million deal this time. A little bit increase from where it was. Maybe it's 2 years, $18 million. But either way, it doesn't get in the way of extending Miles Murphy if it comes to that. Doesn't get in the way of you drafting a defensive end if one is there. If Ruben Bain is there, you can still draft Ruben Bain. And now you got 5 good defensive ends you can rotate and use. I don't think that's a problem for any team in the league. Maybe it is for the Bengals because they like to attack needs. But what this does is help remake your defense in a lot of ways and opens up the draft and keeps it to where the Bengals are like, yeah, $10 million left. That's the money we will use for Dax Hill and DJ Turner and Chase Brown and Jordan Battle. We'll overflate their cap hits just a little bit and be more realistic there. I tried to give it every scenario getting one of the top guys, whether it's at safety, whether it's a defensive end or here at linebacker. There isn't really a top defensive tackle. I don't think they're going to be in on John Franklin Myers. I just think that's too much money. If they do, and they gave 2 years guaranteed, and he's going to be 30 this year, I would be shocked. But he'd be welcome. I'd like him. He's a fun player. Did a film review on him as well for subscribers on Twitter. This one being we are going out spending money. I mean, that's 4 guys that usually be at the top of their list. Most unrealistic of all of them is right there. Although you could slide in Logan Hall or Kwity Paye you could slide in them into this scenario. I think you can slide them into this scenario too. There's probably going to be one guy from each one of these scenarios here that actually makes up the real scenario on Monday. But I do think, let's recap. So to recap, basically what I think the Bengals are going to be aggressive. In their terms, right? Actual aggression would look like restructuring contracts, packing the roster, reducing cap hits as low as you possibly can, and going after many of the top guys. Aggressive to everyone else will be going to get Jalen Phillips, Devin Lloyd, and Brian Cook, right? Like, it's hard because you're competing against 32 other teams. You can't just say, I'll take all 3 of them, because it's not realistic. Another team's going to jump in on that. But aggressive would be going after and filling all of these needs in the draft. It's unlikely that, based on their history, they always leave something open. So what's it going to be? DN4? Is it going to be linebacker? Is it going to be safety? Like that, there's some mistakes to be had there if they do that. I think they're going to be aggressive in their way. What does that mean? I think they're going to try and get a player at each position. I think they're going to try and get multiple defensive linemen. I think they're going to try and get a veteran linebacker. I think they're going to try and get a good safety to pair with Jordan Battle. I just hope they get the right ones. I hope their evaluations are how I feel about them. Not that I'm always right. Who am I? But I would like it to align. I'd like to feel good about this free agency. The activity is one thing. We can talk ourselves into a lot of people. I could talk myself into Joey Bosa, even though I don't think he's got much left. I could talk myself into K'Lavon Chaisson, even though when I went back and watched the sacks and his run defense, I was really like, ah. So that's what I mean when I say I hope they like the same guys. I hope they like Arnold Ebiketie. I hope they like Leo Chenal. I hope they like Nick Cross. We didn't get to Nick Cross. I know he's not the ideal fit with Battle, but give me a guy who runs fast and hits, and potentially could be a value. So that's where I'm at. I do think we're going to see some activity. I think we're going to see activity on day 1 on Monday when free agency opens. I expect it. I expect to see them make moves and sign. It just, again, I don't want to oversell it. I feel like they understand what they need to do. I don't think it's a great free agent crop in order to go splash. I mean, like, who are you going to splash on? The biggest free agents are Trey Hendrickson and Tyler Linderbaum. They're going to get splashes, but there's not too many other guys left that are going to get that. Does that mean everyone else gets more? Add 15% more to the projections for everyone? 20% more? Potentially, yeah, because teams are like, we'll go pay for that second and third wave guys on day 1. You got to be ready for that, and I think the Bengals, that's the part I struggle with, is if they can sense that the prices are going to be high, and are they willing to go there? Rather than say, we tried at our price. We were aggressive in our way. I think they will be, but I just hope it's correct this time. And we'll catch up. Whoever they sign on Monday, we'll do a film review on for Tuesday's episode of Bengals on the Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. Until next time, Hooday.